So now we're going to start looking at positions where we can't necessarily separate our partner's elbow from the body. What do we have so far? We have elbows across the center line. We have elbows to the center line. We have elbows away from the body via extension with underhooks and with overhooks. Okay, now let's look at when our partner starts to posture up more. In all the previous moves, we were able to keep our partner's posture broken and go into our attacks. Now let's say for the first time, our partner starts to posture up and away from us. Okay? We're going to look at Kimura from closed guard. When is the last time in international level competition that you've seen Kimura work effectively from closed guard? It doesn't happen very often. Okay? That's because the setup is flawed. What you see most people teach is when you go for Kimura, you start off with the hip bump. So your partner has hands in here. We take our partner's hands to the floor. We come up. We fake one side. We go to the other side. Okay, the concept is great because as we go one side, our partner moves the head out to the side so I can't come in. And then you go to the other side, and we come up, and then we catch here. The problem is, from the time that I catch my partner's elbow to the time where I actually lock my hands, it's very easy for my partner to just lock her hands in a body lock. And now I'm going to lock my Kimura. My hand comes off the floor, and she just flattens me out. And this happens. Now I can never attack my partner with any kind of Kimura, and I have her body locked around me. Okay? So the old method of clearing my partner's hands, faking one side, going to the other side, and coming up and locking, you won't be able to finish anyone. Because as soon as you get a lock Kimura, your partner simply locks their hands, and now you get drove down to the floor, and you're in a body lock. So let's look at a way we can set it up where we can actually go into full finishes with it. Okay? We're going to come in and we're going to punch our partner's hands to the floor just as we always do. Here. Now, this time, instead of sitting up, I'm simply going to knee pull my way to a Kimura. The second my back leaves the floor, she can lock her hands. So I'm not going to take my back off the floor. Instead of bringing myself to her, I'm going to bring her to me. So I'm going to grab one wrist, and now I'm just going to knee pull over the opposite shoulder. So if I have my right hand grabbing, I knee pull over the left shoulder. Here. Now, when she goes to lock her hands, she can't. And I can always lock my Kimura. Okay? Now I have to create, an angle. If for whatever reason, my partner has her hand inside of her thigh, and I feel like I can't separate it, I separate my partner's hand by extending my right knee and turning my right knee down to my partner's hip. So as she goes to keep her hand locked in tight, I just extend. I can always separate my partner's hands. Okay? Now we come in. We have a perfect angle to be in the power line, which runs diagonally from our partner's shoulder down to her far hip. Now we come in and we take our partner's elbow up to the shoulder line, like so. And now, just as before, we simply take our left elbow and we pull our left elbow down to the floor as our head moves away from our partner's elbow. Here. Okay. So we come in. We pull our bring our partner's arms down to the floor. Now we grab our partner's wrist. Now we knee pull over the left shoulder. We bring our partner down towards us. Now we come in and we reach up and over and we lock Kimura. So now we actually have an ability for the first time to lock Kimura on talented people. My partner's in here, she's fighting, and we're in. Now we can reach up and over and we can catch. Now, my partner goes to tuck the hand inside. We extend the right leg and we close our right knee towards our partner's hip. So no matter how much she goes to keep her hand inside, if I just try to yank out, it's difficult. I extend along my partner's hip with my right leg, and this will always separate your partner's hands. Now we lock our legs up nice and high. The locking of the legs high, combined with the Kimura, keeps my partner's posture broken. Now I'm in the perfect power line of my partner, ranging from the shoulder down to the hip. And now all we need is to bring the elbow to the shoulder line. So we take the elbow up, and now we're in good position. Now, instead of pushing the hand towards the head, we just simply take our left elbow and we retract it down towards the floor as we move our head away from our partner's elbow. Here. Notice when I push the hand towards the head, there's no effect. But without any movement, the second my elbow comes down towards the floor, you get breaking pressure right away. Okay? So just a more sophisticated way to attack Kimura on high-level people. Okay, I don't want to teach you guys how to hit Kimuras and blue belts. I want you to teach you how to hit Kimuras on high-level black belts. Okay, so we come in. As we take the hands through, whether it's inside bicep ties, whatever the case is, we put our partner's hands to the floor and we knee pull in the opposite direction. Here. So that now we can reach over and we can grab. Even if we don't grab our partner's wrist, it's fine. We can just lock a pseudo Kimura here. So now when she goes to pommel her hand out, the only way she can go is backwards. And we can easily lock up. Now when she locks in, it's just so easy to extend out our partner's hip with the right leg, separate the hands, and move to this angular advantage where now we run along the power line of our partner's body. Now we come in, we take the elbow up to the shoulder, and now even with the arm straight, just the retraction of my left elbow to the floor and my head away from my partner's elbow will get strong breaks immediately. And again, always having the wrists rolled forward will make it much tighter. I just can't roll my wrist all the way forward for the demonstration because when the elbow comes to the shoulder line, it's just too tight. Okay, so I have bent wrist just for the demo, but when you're really trying to finish it, you should be in here and bring everything up high. And then you move away and you go to finish. Okay, so we just come in, we're in like so. We put the hands on the floor and we knee pull. As soon as the hands go out, we pull over the shoulder and we reach. Now we come in and as she goes to pommel, we can always lock a Kimura. Now we extend, move to an angle, and now we're on the power line, okay? Where our head points towards our partner's far head. Now we come in and we go for finishes. It's very similar to the Kimura. I know a lot of you guys have seen John's instructionals. Laying back. Very similar to achieving the power line from top position, where I step over my head, and my head now points towards my partner's far head. Here. Now, the elbow's up at the shoulder line, you come in elbow to elbow, and we pull the elbow up, okay? Again, I'm diagonal towards my partner's hip, so I'm along the power line and I can get strong breaks. Same thing here. We have a Kimura. We move to an angle now, where we're diagonal, our head pointing towards our partner's far head. So that now we can come in, move the elbow up to the shoulder line, and get strong breaks for the win. Okay? So just a better way of attacking Kimura from bottom close guard. Okay, so now let's look at a position where my partner just chooses to stay postured, but never leans forward to actually stand up. Okay, there's nothing more annoying than just having a stalemate in this position. So we're gonna come in, and let's take a look now at what everyone tells you to do. From top position, knees nice and wide, shoulders directly over the hips, and hands in like so. So now we're gonna pull my partner into my chest. With a knee pull, it's impossible. So now it's great, yeah, I can't attack her, but how is she gonna open my guard? In order for her to open my guard, she has to lean forward with some kind of inside position, stand up, and now she can go in and separate my legs. So it's great for her, sure. She's not gonna get broken down and submitted, but she also can't do anything offensive. So whenever I see my partner's shoulders are over my hips, or over her hips, or behind her hips, I'm just gonna start to simply sit up. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, hip bump sweeps are generally pretty ineffective if you're just using them for sweeps. So if I wanna just sit up, take a collar tie on my partner, my hips rise above my partner's, and now I can start to take my partner up and over. That's great. If you can take your partner up and over, perfect. Okay, we come up, we simply sit up, we reach for our partner's collar. As we sit up, our hips rise above our partner's, like so. If our hips are below our partner's, we're never going to take anybody over. So our hips come up, and our 2 feet point out in the same direction. Here. Now we just simply throw our hips forward, and if we can roll our partner over, great. But what happens a lot of the times is your partner just posts on the floor. So now I feel like I'm not going to be able to take my partner over. That's fine. We use it as a kazushi, okay, an initial off balance. If I just stay here and I'm trying to fight to pull my partner in, it's just so difficult, okay? So instead, I just sit up and I simply thread the hip bump sweep. Where I come up, I reach for a collar tie, I move to my hand, I swish my feet out. Now, as my partner posts in the hand, I'm just going to take my leg up and over and fire it up like so. Now, as I fall, I just lock my 2 legs and I pull my knees back to my chest. And what do we have? A trap triangle. And now we can go into all of our previous attacks. We can even go for Teikatames here if we want to. And we can go for all of our Senkakus and anti-Senkakus that we want right from there. Okay? So we come in. Our partner's posture up. We feel like we can't pull our partner in. So all we're going to look to do is we're going to look to come up, collar tie. As we come up, we post on the elbow first. We flare the hand out. Okay? If you're trying to come up to my hand from here, it's impossible. So the hand has to go above the line of the elbow, here, in order for me to come up. So we come up, our partner, we're trying to pull our partner in all one motion, we're up. Now our feet point in the same direction, my hips come higher than my partner's. So as I go to bump, my partner posts the hand, we just fire our legs up and over. Okay? Now we're ready to go for attacks. Making sure that our hips are higher than our partner's. So as we go to sit up, we're in here. 2 feet point in the same direction, and hips rise. This is always going to elicit a post from your partner. Now we just come in, we fire all like up and over, and we're ready to go in for all of our attacks with a trap triangle. So we use a hip bump. If we get our partner over, great, but it's unlikely you're going to be able to do that to anyone who's good. So instead, we just force a post with an initial Kazushi, and then throw into a trap triangle and go into all of our attacks right from there. Alright, so now we're finally breaking into a position where our partner manages to stand up. We weren't able to get the elbow across the center line. We weren't able to get the elbow to the center line. We weren't able to get an underhook to bring the elbow away from the body, overhook. We weren't able to do any of these things. Our partner beats us to inside position, stands up. Once our partner stands up, if we can keep their posture broken, we can still go into attacks in the upper body. Only once they reach full vertical posture, then we have no attacks in the upper body, and we can only go into attacks in the lower body. Okay, unless we break them back down in one of the other situations. Okay, but as soon as our partner stands up, we immediately look to control a collar tie at the long end of the lever to keep our partner's posture broken. So even though they're standing up, we can still go into attacks in the upper body. So let's look at a few of the ways we can do that. My partner takes inside bicep ties. She leans forward, she stands up. The second I see her stepping a foot up, my hand comes inside, and we grab a collar tie like so. Okay? Now when she goes to stand in vertical posture, it's difficult. Now what we're going to look to do is take one leg up to a little bit longer end of the lever, and a second knee, or second foot, to my partner's hip like so. Okay? Now, this ensures that my partner can't tuck her elbow outside my hip. When she tries to, she can't because it's wedged in place by my thigh. Now we're simply going to come in, and we're going to look to turn an angle by pushing on my partner's hip and closing my left knee. That brings my right leg up. Now, when I retract my left knee to my chest, it pulls my partner's arm so far inside that we can move to a top lock. Okay? Now that we have a top lock, we control our partner's posture completely. We've moved incrementally from the low end of the lever, the short end of the lever, to the long end of the lever. So now when she goes to stand up, she can't. Now, when she goes to lock wrist to wrist, or when she goes to lock a full figure four, she can't because I'm wrist to wrist. Now all I have to do is scoop the leg, and now we pivot off the shoulder and throw our knee up and over our partner's ear. So now we can come in, and we can start to rotate through and set our partner down, just as we did previously. Okay? So this can be used whether my partner beats me to inside position first, or a lot of the times, your partner knows they have to stand up. So what happens is you beat them to inside position, and they just post their hands to the floor. Now they just briefly stand up, and now they say, okay, I'm standing. So what everyone does is they try to peel the collar tie off. Now they can stand all the way up. Okay? So you'll see a lot of times it's common for people to briefly post hands on the floor and stand all the way up. Okay? And now they can just clear the collar tie, and now they're gone. So what this does, go back. What our foot post on the hip does is allows us to take one of our partner's elbows initially inside that shoulder. So whether she goes inside bicep ties and she goes to stand up, we pommel one hand to the inside. Now as she gets it back up, we control the posture. We take one leg up. Now we take a foot to our partner's hip. Now as we close our right knee, our right foot flares further towards the far shoulder. Here, so we can create an angle. Now when she goes to keep the elbow out, we just take our left knee into our chest and we throw it up and over the shoulder. And now we have a perfect top lock. The same applies. Go for our partner post 2 hands on the floor and just springs up. We come in, foot post to the hip. Now immediately taking the elbow closer to the shoulder. Now my right leg comes up, 1, left knee comes up to my chest, and then we just simply lock over my partner's shoulder. So now when she goes to posture, when she goes to drive into me, she can't. Now we scoop the leg and we pivot off of our partner's shoulder. Now we're in wrist to wrist just like we were before. Now all we need to do is flick the leg up and over and catch. When she goes to posture in, if she goes to stack me, if she falls down, grabs the knee and stacks me, no problem. I roll through. If she stands up, no problem. I roll through. Okay? So we make sure we post a foot on the hip to allow us to take one of our partner's arms at least inside of our partner's shoulder. Okay? So we come in. This time, my partner beats me to a standing position, but I still control the posture. So all the things we did previously failed. My partner takes inside bicep ties, okay? Best position she can be in. And now, as she goes to stand, we come in here. Now, she stands up, but I have the inside bicep tie, or I have the collar tie. So my hips stay high, and now we take 1 foot to our partner's hip, and 1 foot up to the longer end of the lever. Now when she goes to posture, she can't get all the way to vertical posture. When she goes to clear my collar tie off, it's difficult, okay? Whereas if I'm just here down at the low end, she can posture at the same time and clear the collar tie. So we go foot, 1, legs up high, 2. Now I start to create an angle. As I create an angle, I turn my left knee into my partner's shoulder as my right foot comes further towards my partner's right shoulder. Here. Now the final step to bring my partner's elbow inside the shoulder is to retract my left knee into my own chest and lock up and over. So now we're in a full top lock and control our partner's shoulder. Now we come in, we go wrist to wrist. When she goes to lock a figure 4, she can't. We pivot off of our partner's shoulder, we throw our leg up and over, and now we're ready to go in with a full Juji Kame from a top lock, even though our partner manages to stand up on us. Alright, so now, again, let's look into how to go into figure 4 top locks from here. Okay, again, this is a position that not everybody can do, but if you can use it, it's much more effective than a top lock. Okay, it's relatively similar, just a few extra movements. My partner goes to stand up. We again have to get to a collar tie. No matter what we're doing from here, if we don't get to a collar tie, our partner's going to stand up. So we come in, we take 1 foot to our partner's hip, we take 1 foot up high. Now we just move. Left knee comes up high, left leg or right leg moves to the shoulder. Now we move back and forth. Where our 2 feet just climb up our partner's body until we can lock into a full figure 4 top lock. And now from here, we just come in and once again, we bridge, we bring everything over the right hip, and we get strong finishes with the extension of our body. So our feet are moving. Come back down. Actually stand up. Our feet are moving simultaneously, one side, other side, one side, other side. So we come in, we post the foot 1. Our foot comes up. Now, instead of just bringing the knee up and locking a top lock, we also have to cover this shoulder. So we come in, our knee comes up, our feet swisher to one side, our feet swisher to the other side, our feet swisher to the other side, and we just move until we can get above my partner's 2 shoulders. Or now we can lock up. Now, when my partner goes to pull out and away, it's just so difficult. When she goes to back up away from me, her arms will not come free. Okay, so we come in, we're in here, she stands up, we go to a collar tie, and we're in like so. Now, instead of just going to a full top lock, we go to a figure 4 top lock. So we come in, knee closes, knee comes up. Now our feet move. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, lock. Now when she goes to pull out and away, it's just so difficult. And you can see, just by the tightness of moving the feet back and forth, you keep your partner wedged in place the whole time. So as she goes to stand up, when she goes to pull out and away as I'm moving to a figure 4 top lock, It's just so difficult. Okay? Just by keeping your partner wedged in place, by moving your feet in harmony from one side to the other side, keeps your partner wedged in place the whole time. There's no disconnect of yourself and your partner. So you can move your feet incrementally up to the long end of the lever, and eventually trapping both your partner's shoulders, locking the full figure 4 top lock. Alright, so I'm just throw this one in there for you guys, because it is something that a lot of people try to do. When we take 2 V-grips inside of our partner's armpit and we stand up, we look to insert our knee into our partner's tailbone. Okay, so let's look at the mechanics of how we're going to actually look to do this. First things first is I take my 2 hands as V-grips inside my partner's armpits and we look to stand up. Okay, once we stand up, as we look to move away, we need to make sure of 2 things. Okay, one is that I line my foot, or my knee rather, up directly with my partner's tailbone. Okay, as I line my foot up directly with my partner's tailbone, I need to make sure that my foot is flat on the ground. If my foot isn't flat on the ground, the insertion point won't be correct. So I make sure that 1, my knee is aligned with my partner's tailbone precisely, and 2, that my foot is flat on the ground. Okay, so those are the first 2 prerequisites. Now, I need to make sure that when I backstep my left foot, I backstep it into a point where it's directly behind my right foot, here. Only now, with the correct insertion point and my 2 feet aligned to the same axis, can I lean back over my heel and insert my knee. If done in a different way than this, the chances of you succeeding will be very low. When I come in, the mechanics of this, we control our partner's upper body. So my partner tries to reach for my legs, it's difficult because they can't move the shoulders around. So if at any point my partner tries to reach for my legs, even when my foot's in here, she can't ever get to my legs. Okay? So from top position, I control the upper body of the shoulders, and then I'm very precise with the placement of my legs from bottom position. Okay? So we come in, we stand. First, we take 1 knee and insert it directly into our partner's tailbone. Now, even though I'm much bigger than her, my legs are long, and she has short legs, I can still get my knee in the correct position. Now I lean back so my foot's flat on the floor. Now, as I go to backstep, my foot walks directly behind my right foot. If I try to drop down from this position, she'll tell you it's impossible. Now, when I walk back, my feet line up, and now when she goes to keep her guard locked, at the perfect insertion point to take my knee inside. Okay? So as far as the top position opponent, that's what needs to be done. So how can we prevent this from bottom position? Okay? We're going to come in, and as a general rule, my partner uses V-grips inside my armpits as opposed to inside bicep ties. It's usually pretty clear what they're going for. Okay? If my partner uses inside bicep ties and she stands up and she attempts to go for this move, I can easily clear my partner's bicep ties and look to scoop her legs and bring the angle of my hips out to a different position so she can never line up with my tailbone. Okay? But when she uses V-grips, now when she stands up, now we're in a position where now when she goes to take her legs in, when I go to access her legs, the V-grip stops me. Okay? So the first thing I have to do, let's go back a step, is as soon as my partner goes to stand up, I'm immediately clearing these V-grips. Okay? The way that I do this, is just by taking my 2 hands inside with closed elbows here. As I do this, my hands come up towards my own armpits. Now I just lift over my head, and this will take my partner's arms off. Okay? If I try to do things where I reach across like this, you can eventually clear your partner's arms, sure. But as she's going to stand up and do this, if she puts pressure on me, now it's difficult to pull the hands across, and the whole time she's getting closer to that insertion point. So we always come in, and as she stands, we come through, 1, up, 2. And now we just lift over our head. See, when she goes to lock in tight and put her weight on me, we can take our hands up and through. Okay? So now, as she has V-grips inside, she goes to insert a knee. As she gets a knee inside, I want to do a good job of keeping my hips up as high as possible. The lower my hips sag down, the easier that insertion point is for her to break through. So as she goes to stand up, we're immediately coming inside. We take our hips up nice and high by our partner. Now we come in, as she brings her knee inside, we clear our grips, and then we immediately look to come through and go wrist deep on our partner's ankle. Now all we need to do is change the angle of our hips so that her knee can no longer meet my tailbone. And we knee pull, and we can knock our partner back down. And in addition, most of the time, we have the ability to expose an angle and separate a limb from the body in some way. Okay? Partner's going to fall in different ways, obviously, and you just react accordingly. As my partner goes to stand up, hips come up nice and high, hands come in. As she's going to align her knee, we clear this grip. Now we come in, and as soon as she goes to go in and align that knee, we just reach through, and now as we knee pull, we just move our hips to a different angle. We can easily break our partner down, where now we can start to go in and go into all of our good attacking positions. Okay? So first things first, we address the grip. So she comes in, hands come up, and as she stands, we're already addressing this grip as she goes to insert the knee. Here. So we bring this hand through, and now we just move to a position where we can go wrist deep on our partner's ankle, and what pulls her knee out of alignment is a knee pull over my opposite shoulder. So my right hand reaches, and my left knee pulled over my left shoulder. So she goes to get up, she goes to align the knee, and now we're in. We broke our partner back down, and we're ready to go into all of our attacking positions as we talked about previously. Okay? They're just a good way to understand both what the top person should be doing and what we should be doing from bottom position. Alright, so now our partner stands up and we get all the way to vertical posture. What is our plan of attack here? We have the choice to try to attack our partner with closed legs or to open our legs and look to attack lower body submissions or positions, Ashigarami and X-guard, things like that. Let's first look at one of the most common and most taught sweeps from this position, the handstand sweep. Okay, where our partner goes to stand up, she gets to vertical posture, and now as she stands up, I scoop underneath my partner's leg with my elbow, my right hand, elbow deep. Now, the key to this sweep is to get my hip over my partner's knee so that my hip starts rolling to the opposite side of her knee and forcing her to start backstepping with this leg. Okay? The question is, how can I do that? Right now, my hips can't come high enough to go over my partner's knee. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to take my right hand in towards my own head and physically post my hand on the floor. Now, as my hips start to rise, I'm going to start looking to take my hips and move it over my partner's leg. As I do this, my shoulders come off the floor, and just my head ends up on the ground. Okay? My partner will be forced to backstep with her legs. The second you see a backstep, you know your partner's going to go over. She can only backstep so far. So I take my hips up, my shoulders come off the floor, and she goes to backstep, and now I come all the way up off my shoulders, and now you see my hips start coming over my partner's knee. As you see this happen, I just start rotating my right hip down, and now when she goes to backstep, she can only go so far until eventually she falls over. Now we just come in, we slide our left knee up, now we end up in top mounted position. Okay? So notice, there are two distinguishing factors that'll make this move work versus fail. I have to come off my shoulders and onto my head, and I have to get my hip to move to the outside of my partner's knee. So my hip is coming from the inside of the thigh to the top of the thigh over to the outside of the knee. This will force my partner to start putting all the weight onto one foot, backstepping into a point where she can't backstep any further and eventually falls down. So she stands up to vertical posture. We immediately scoop in. Okay. So we get our partner into a position where now we can come in and we get a slight off balance. Now, we keep our legs locked. We put our hand on the floor next to our head. As we pull our heels to our butt, our hips rise off the floor. Here, this immediately puts our partner off balance. Now we come in, we take our hips up nice and high, and our head off the floor. Now that we're on our head and off of our shoulders, now notice my hips Went from inside of my partner's thigh to the top of the thigh, and now we start to roll to the outside. And now from here, as we both go to get up, I just slide my left knee up, and I sit my partner down into a mounted position. Okay? So we come in. She stands up. We immediately scoop inside, wrist deep, and we move elbow deep. We post the hand right next to our head. Now, what brings my hips up is a combination of my hips just rising by lengthening my body, pulling my heels to my butt, using my head to push my shoulders off the floor, and using my hand to push my shoulders off the floor. So now we come in, the hips rise, the head pushes the shoulders off the floor, and now you see my hips starting to rise above my partner's thigh. Once my hips start to go outside of my partner's knee, that's when I consider down to the floor. Now as we both go to get up, I just slide my left knee up, place it down on the floor, and now we can easily come up into a mounted position with, again, knees inside of our partner's elbows. Okay? So as my partner goes to get up, she stands in vertical posture. We come in immediately, we move to this position. Now we keep our legs locked, and all in one motion, we just take our shoulders off the floor, and we get our hips over our partner's thigh. The second my hips go over her thigh, she'll start backstepping. Then once my hips start to go outside of her knee, and she starts to roll with her knee and her hip outside of her foot, and the backstep can no longer support her, she'll fall over. Now we just come in with the left knee high, we take our partner up and over, and we solidify our handstand sweep. Alright, so now, just as I spoke about in the passing instructional, most of the sweeps on opponents who are standing over you are pretty low percentage. Okay? When someone stands up in closed guard, the fear of being knocked backwards is much less than the fear of being pulled forwards into submissions. Okay? So as far as just sweeping someone when they're standing up and above you, it's pretty low percentage. Most of the time you knock them down to their butt, but then it's actually hard to get on top of them. So most of the time when we're sweeping someone and they're standing over us, we're using it as an initial kazushi, an off balance, to create a diversion to expose submissions, okay, or better positions. Okay, so let's take a look at how we can do this now. We're going to come in and we're going to look to go into a handstand sweep on our partner. Our partner stands up. We come in, we move to a position, and we knock our partner down. Now this time, as I go to get up, my hand has to come off the floor, and my hips have to rise. As this happens, what happens a lot of times, my partner just tucks the leg in, and now she just comes back on top and she beats me, and now we're back in guard. Okay? So whenever I see this, we have the ankle hooked, and we end up here. Whenever I see this, I'm just going to grab a collar tie, and I'm just going to shoot my hips forward. As I shoot my hips forward, and my partner goes to post upon the hand to bring herself back up, as she goes to retract her leg, okay? As she goes to retract her leg and come on top, that's fine. I just fire my leg over, and as she goes to get on top, we're in a position now where we can just fall into these trap triangles where once again, we can go into all of our great attacking positions. Okay? So we come in, my partner stands up. As I set my partner down, I feel like as I go to get up on top of my partner, I get to post my hand up, and now as we both go to get up, she pushes me down or posts in my chest, and now I get knocked back down. Okay? The second I take my partner over, I throw my hips forward. This will immediately make it so my partner can't retract her elbow and hide this hand underneath my legs. My hips come forward. Now as she goes to get up, I just throw my leg up and over, and now we end up in these trap triangle positions where we can go into all of our fine attacking positions off of that. So she stands up, I come in, I go into my handstand sweep. As we both go to get up, I just fire my leg over, and now we're ready to go into all of our finishes. So we use an initial kazushi with the handstand sweep. As our partner goes to insist on getting on top, we go into a triangle. So if she accepts bottom position and she falls to a shoulder, there's no triangle, but there's a sweep. If the handstand's on the floor and she goes to push back on top of you, then you go into a triangle instead. Okay, so this time we go for a handstand sweep, but we have an incredibly advanced opponent who doesn't allow our hips to get close enough for a triangle because they post the hand on our stomach or on our chest. So what this will look like is we come in and we go in for a handstand sweep. My partner stands up. We take our partner over, and now, as I'm going to throw a triangle into place, her hand is on my chest. So now, as I'm going to take my hips up, I can never lock my legs around my opponent. And now, because the hand's on the chest, she tucks her leg in, she pushes back into me, and I get knocked back down and handcuffed inside. And now I can't go into my triangles. So whenever I see we're in this position, the hand's posted on my chest, we're just going to come through, and we're going to take a wrist-to-wrist grip like so, and we're just going to look to invert our left knee down to the floor. So we're going to throw our hips up, and as our hips come forward, we're just going to throw our left knee up and over our partner's head. So that now from here, we put our shin to the back of our partner's head, and we end up belly down, and again, the same position that we looked at before. Where now we can gather 1, 2 of our partner's legs, roll our partner through, and end up in a fine attacking position with Juji Gatame for the win. Okay? So this time we come in, we're going to sit our partner down to the floor. We're successful with the handstand sweep, sitting our partner down, but as we sit our partner to the floor, she posts in my chest. So now if I try to throw myself into a triangle, I can never get my hips close enough. Okay? The hand's back here somewhere, and she's just posting. Now it's easy for me to bring my hips up and get a strong connection. When she extends the hand to my chest, now I can lock my legs, and she can bring the hand inside easily. Okay? So this time we just come through. Whenever I see an extended limb, we catch 1. We come in, hips come up to the armpit, so that now I can invert my knee down to the floor. Now she has to lock her hands, because again, I'm wrist to wrist, she can't put a bend in the arm. Now we just come in, and now we look to roll our partner through into a winning position and go into a full juji from top position. So we come in from closed guard. I have a talented opponent who manages to stand up in vertical posture. She beats me in the grip fighting. We come through, we catch, we sit our partner down. We go to throw a triangle, we can't. We just hop over. And we roll our partner through. Now we're ready to go in and break our partner from top position. So when I see my partner post on the chest, to avoid being triangled, that's fine. The hips rise, we just invert belly down, go into a belly down juji, and then roll our partner through for the win. Okay, so now there's always going to be times where our partner stands up, we attempt a handstand sweep, and for whatever reason, our partner separates our legs before we can knock them over. That's fine. Okay? Whenever we see this, we look to go for a handstand sweep. Our partner stands up to vertical posture. Now I come in, I scoop my partner's leg, she posts on my knee, and now as I go to sweep her, my legs come separated. We immediately switch from an elbow deep grip of my partner's Achilles to a scoop grip on my above my partner's knee. What this does is it allows me to have some control of my partner's legs and body before I move my legs into position. If I'm just here and she just runs away, she's going to pull out easily every time. But when I go above my partner's knee, now I control not just the lower leg, but also the upper leg. Now when she goes to pull out and away, good, it's much harder. And this gives me more time now to put my legs into position. So whenever I see this, I go from outside knee position to inside knee position. And now we can go into any form of Ashigarami X guard that we want. We can throw our leg up and over and enter to outside Ashigarami. We can switch to X guard, reverse X guard. We can do all kinds of things from here. Okay? But just getting into this habit of entering into our partner's legs as soon as we feel the upper body moves away from us. So I have my legs in place. I'm going for a handstand sweep. She separates my legs. We immediately catch over 1, and we drop our right knee to the inside position. So now we can come in, we can move to X guard, we can put our partner's hands to the floor, we can fire into outside Ashigarami, we can sit our partner down, we can do all kinds of things, okay? So we move to X guard, reverse X, we move to outside Ashigarami, and as we move in, make a transition cross Ashi. You do all kinds of things from here. We just make sure that the second we lose the upper body completely and we feel our legs get separated, we immediately move from an elbow deep grip on the ankle to a scoop grip on the knee. Now we invert the right knee so we have inside knee position. Now we can come in and put our partner's hands on the floor. We can fire outside Ashigarami, let the center partner down. We can fire to outside Ashigarami. And move the cross Ashigarami and go into all of our attacks from here. Okay? But just always get into the habit of immediately moving to the lower body when the upper body is no longer available. Alright, so now let's look at a sweep that everybody knows from closed guard. Let's just look at a way to make your grips a little bit more sticky. Okay, when our partner stands up, and again, we're not really looking to sweep our partner from here. The sweeps are very low percentage. Your partner pretty much has to be an idiot to get swept from this position, but we can use it to set up other things. Okay, whenever my partner's standing over me, and she separates my legs, when I'm in this position, in order for her to backstep with one leg, she has to expose the space between my elbow and my rib cage, which means she has to lean her weight to one leg, kick forward, expose that space, and do a big backstep around. Now, I only have access to one of her legs, and now what I want to start to do is to invert my knee to the inside position and go into attacks. Okay? That's fine if we do that. What she has to do is to expose that space. So what I look to do with my hands is I look to take my hands and glue my hands to her ankles and push her ankles to my own buttocks. So I'm trying to essentially glue my hand to my own butt. But her ankle's obviously in the way, so we can't do that. We want to push in towards our buttocks and close our elbows in. So we have sticky grips. So now my partner goes to backstep. See how it gets caught? Her shoelaces get caught under my forearm and her ankle gets glued to my butt. So as she goes to backstep at the time available, I can always sit my partner down. Okay? Now from here, we look to immediately post one hand and extract one leg. So now, as my partner goes to get back up on top of me, we have one inside leg. As she goes to get back up, we can pommel a second leg inside. And now we can come in and we can go right into Ashigarami on our partner, or now we can go into more attacks. Okay? Obviously, if your partner's being a moron, then you just pull two legs out and get top position. That's very unlikely. So we come in, my partner stands up, she separates my legs, and we catch. Now if we just catch and we just look to push our ankles or our legs back, she can just easily kick forward and backstep out. Okay? So I make sure that I glue everything to my own buttocks and I close my elbows. So now, as she goes to backstep, she gets caught. She goes back to the other leg, and she gets caught. Then we go side to side, and every time she gets caught, until eventually we feel comfortable where she goes to backstep, and now we sit our partner down. Now we immediately put two heels to the floor, extract one leg. Now as your partner goes to get up, we use one leg to make space for our second leg to pommel, knee to knee, ankle to ankle. So as our partner goes to get up on top of us, we just shoot one leg through, we enter into an Ashigarami, and now we're ready to go into all of our attacks right from here. Okay? So we use this to get to a more advantageous position and go into attacks on our partner's legs or sweeping positions, whatever you guys want from here. We always make sure to have stickiness of grips. Our partner stands up. Now as she goes to backstep, she gets caught and she gets set down to the floor. Okay? Like I talked about before, gripping exchanges win fights. Okay? If you have sticky grips and you're a good gripper, that's what's going to get you through, and that's going to make the difference between winning a match and losing a match. Okay? Okay, so last but not least, our partner is in closed guard. She stands up, she opens up my legs, and this time, I can't even manage to knock my partner down to her butt. Okay? So as she stands up, she backsteps out, and now I feel like I can't even get my partner down to a butt. Now what I have to start doing is to start inverting my left knee. So I post my foot on my partner's far hip, I turn my hips, and I invert my left knee, where now I can start moving in and having the inside foot position. Now I can't reach for an Ashigarami, so I just post my foot on the floor. And now from here, I catch my partner's far buttocks. Notice, I didn't say directly in the testicles. Far buttocks here. Or now I can bridge off my left foot, bump my partner's far leg to me, and throw my legs into place, and now we can go into Ashigarami. Okay? So whenever I see my partner stand up, I go to catch my partner. As I go to step back, as I go to sit her back down, she steps back. Now we come in. Now we just post, we invert the left leg. Now as we take our right foot through, we just catch, we square our hips, we pull our partner's far leg to us. So now we can come in, fire into Ashigarami, fire into X guard, do all kinds of things from here. We'll cover that more in a different instructional where I go over Ashigarami type guards. Okay? When we come in, whenever my partner steps a leg back, okay, let's say she does the opposite leg this time, we just come in and we immediately invert the knee. So from here we can always catch. And now, as my partner goes to backstep with this leg, I don't want her to just backstep this leg, and now she's past my legs. So I always catch one, I catch two. So now, as she goes to backstep, I can always push her out in this direction to create an initial kazushi. And now we can throw our legs into place. Okay. So I always want to make sure that when I invert, I don't just catch here with one leg or here with one leg. I always make sure that my second leg catches behind my partner's hamstring. If she can backstep two of her legs to the same side of my body, now there's no more straight Ashigaramis for me. So I always make sure I catch one, two. Now as she goes to backstep, I always create an initial kazushi where now I can fire my legs into place, and now we can go into attacks on our partner with various kinds of Ashigarami attacks. Okay. Alright guys, so once again, thank you for taking the time to listen to all my bullshit. This is a complete system from Closed Guard. Always remember, when you're working from a closed guard, the first thing you have to understand is that whoever's going to dominate the gripping exchanges is going to dominate the rest of the match from this position. If I, from top position, can dominate the gripping exchanges, I'm going to easily fight to inside position. I'm going to stand up, get to vertical posture, and I'm going to open your guard. If you can dominate the gripping exchanges by fighting with the hands and creating misdirection with knee pulls from bottom position, you're going to win. If you can constantly keep me off balance with knee pulls, you're always going to win. If you can knee pull to certain angles and win the gripping exchanges. Okay? We always need two things in order to have the advantage on our partner. We need to have movement that leads to angular advantage. If we can establish angular advantage, we're always in these advantage positions that we have from closed guard. Okay? While closed guard, everyone can agree is a neutral position, we have to make slight adjustments through movement and misdirection to put ourselves in these micro positions, or these to make micro adjustments. Okay? Once we make these micro adjustments, we can put ourselves in these advantage positions. Okay? And just by making these simple, just by having this insight of making these simple adjustments, the elbow being here versus the elbow being here, my hips being here versus my hips being here, you can start to use closed guard as in a true attacking position versus just a neutral stalling position where no one really does anything. The person on top doesn't stand up, and the person on bottom doesn't really ever attack submissions or attack sweeps. We have to be able to make these micro adjustments to put us into these advantage positions, and that will make you truly dangerous from a closed guard rather than being just another guy sitting in closed guard. Okay. Thank you to Sunny for helping me out for all this 2 days of filming. Thank you to you guys for taking the time to learn. BJ Fanatics and Bernardo and Michael for having me here and also listening to my bullshit while I teach. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to either message me or just post them in the group. Of course, I'm going to miss some of them, so if I do, I'm sorry. But I try to respond to everyone. So if you guys watch this, if you have any questions rolling live, or if you're ever at Henzo's, or if you see me at a seminar and you have any questions about anything that you saw, feel free to come up and ask me, and I'll be more than happy to help you guys out. Anything to say?
Thank you, guys.